Ciao, sono Anna e questo è My Italian Circle. Welcome to our third lesson on the subjunctive mood in Italian, il congiuntivo. If you have watched our previous videos on this topic, you should now be more familiar with the congiuntivo and you should have moved from this.
Spero che il video di oggi è interessante. È importante che io imparo il congiuntivo.
To this.
Spero che il video di oggi sia interessante. È importante che io impari il congiuntivo.
I want this lesson to be accessible from an A2 level. Therefore, I will explain this topic in English, and I will provide a simplified version of some more advanced concepts.
Vorrei che tu fossi qui. Il congiuntivo, parte 3.
Before going on, here's a quick summary of what we have learned so far.
The subjunctive mood is used to express possibility, wish, fear, doubt, and personal opinion. The indicative mood, instead, presents a fact as real and certain. Credo che tu sia felice. So che tu sei felice. The subjunctive is often used in dependent clauses introduced by che. Io spero che tu vinca la gara. If the subject of the two clauses is the same, we use di plus infinitive. Io spero di vincere la gara. Il congiuntivo is also used in independent clauses to express a doubt, a wish, an exhortation, an exclamation. Mi faccia il piacere. Se ne vada. Tenga le mani a posto.
Ma mi faccia il piacere, se ne vada!
Come non faccia lei il piacere?
Non volete le mani addosso, lei?
Ma è stato lei che...
Tenga la mano a posto!
Ma lo tenga lei a posto.
From theory to practice. Let's take a model sentence and modify it using the subjunctive to express different shades of meaning. Our model sentence is: Giorgio è in ritardo. Giorgio is late. Now I'll change it. Suppongo che Giorgio sia in ritardo. I guess Giorgio is late. This is an assumption I'm making. I'm saying that there is a possibility that Giorgio is late. Giorgio non è qui. Che sia in ritardo? Giorgio is not here. Is he late? Here I'm wondering if Giorgio is late. I'm expressing a doubt. Vorrei che Giorgio non fosse in ritardo. This is a wish. I wish Giorgio wasn't late. Fosse is subjunctive imperfect, a tense we haven't studied yet together. Now, I don't want to put too much on your plate, so I will simply say that when you have a sentence like this: I wish you could understand. I'd like you to come with me, where you express the wish that someone else does something, then in Italian you have to say vorrei che plus subject plus imperfect subjunctive. It's not difficult. You just have to get familiar with the conjugation of the imperfect subjunctive. So, I wish you could understand is io vorrei che tu capissi. I'd like you to come with me is vorrei che tu venissi con me. To help you become more confident when using the congiuntivo imperfetto, let's compare the present and the imperfect conjugation of essere, to be.
Che io sia. Che io fossi. Che tu sia. Che tu fossi. Che lui, lei sia. Che lui, lei fosse. Che noi siamo. Che noi fossimo. Che voi siate, che voi foste, che loro siano, che loro fossero.
Patrons, you can find the complete conjugation of the subjunctive mood in section 7 of our grammar handbook.
Congiuntivo e congiunzioni.
Now I'm going to introduce a new element into the picture, conjunctions. Conjunctions are words or groups of words that link words and sentences together. In Italian, some conjunctions are followed by the subjunctive. Not all conjunctions, only some of them. Let's have a look.
Prima che, affinché, perché, in modo che, così che. Come se, nel caso che, qualora, se. Nonostante, sebbene, malgrado. A meno che, tranne che. A condizione che, a patto che.
Prima che. The conjunction prima che specifically requires the subjunctive. Vai via, prima che sia troppo tardi. Che sia is subjunctive. Voglio andare a casa prima che piova. Che piova is subjunctive. Prima che, before, looks towards the future. We are speaking of an action that is not real yet, which agrees very much with the use of the subjunctive expressing a possibility. But what about dopo che, after? Watch out! Dopo che is followed by the indicative because it refers to the past, to an action that has already taken place and is therefore certain. Vado a casa dopo che ha smesso di piovere. Ha smesso is indicative. Affinché, perché, in modo che, così che, so that, in order to. All these conjunctions express the purpose of an action. Affinché literally means al fine di, for the purpose of. In modo che and così che mean more or less the same. Io parlo lentamente affinché voi mi possiate capire. Spiegherò la regola così che possiate capire. Spiego la grammatica in inglese in modo che la capiate tutti. But what about perché? Doesn't it mean why, because? Not always. Perché can also be a synonym of affinché. Ho comprato 2 biglietti per il cinema perché venga anche tu. Venga is subjunctive. I bought 2 cinema tickets so that you can come too. Maybe you'll come, maybe you won't. It's a possibility. That's why we use the subjunctive. Venga. Now I will show you the word perché meaning because. Ho comprato 2 biglietti per il cinema perché vieni anche tu. The meaning is different. I bought 2 cinema tickets because you are coming too. You are coming, it's a fact, indicative, vieni. Some conjunctions can be followed by the indicative or the subjunctive, depending on whether the event is seen as certain or as possible, potential. Perché is the most common one. By the way, I don't want you to think about whether a fact is certain or not every time you choose a conjunction. The explanations I give here are just meant to help you understand the concept and remember better. Benché, nonostante, although, nonostante, per quanto, despite. Nonostante abbia mangiato, ho ancora fame. Per quanto studi, non passo gli esami. Benché io ami il calcio, non vado mai allo stadio. 2 more conjunctions. Come se, as if, and quasi, almost, almost like. Sono felice come se fossi in vacanza. I am as happy as if I were on holiday. Questa plastica è molto trasparente, quasi fosse vetro. This plastic is very transparent, almost like glass. Be careful. Quasi and come se need the imperfect subjunctive. In Italian, this tense is often used for imagined situations. I'm not on holiday, and this plastic is not glass. Here, Italian is very similar to English, where the past tense is also used for imagined situations. If I won the lottery, I would buy a Ferrari. Time for a large group of conjunctions that are used in conditional sentences, such as a condizione che, a patto che, purché, nel caso che, se, qualora, nell'eventualità che, casomai, ammesso che. A few examples. Signora, nell'eventualità che il treno sia in ritardo, prenda un taxi. Nel caso che il concerto venga annullato, non rimborseremo i biglietti. Ti ascolto, a patto che tu mi dica la verità. Se fosse vero, te lo direi. I won't go into the details of conditional sentences, il periodo ipotetico. Let's take one step at a time. For now, let's learn that this type of conjunctions requires the subjunctive. We already have a video on first conditional sentences and others will follow soon. One last effort! We are coming to the end of today's grammar lesson. Senza che, without, tranne che, a meno che, unless are all followed by the subjunctive. Let's see them in a sentence. Ruberemo i gioielli senza che il museo si accorga di niente. A meno che tu non venga con me, starò a casa. Let's review. Today, we reviewed a few basic concepts. We also learned that several conjunctions are followed by the subjunctive. A few conjunctions can be followed by the indicative or the subjunctive, depending on whether the event is seen as certain or as possible potential. Perché is the most common one. Ho comprato un panino perché ho fame. I bought a sandwich because I'm hungry. Ho spento la luce perché tu possa dormire. I turned off the light so that you could sleep. We have reached the end of today's episode. I haven't listed all the possible conjunctions and I haven't dwelt on the various stanzas of the subjunctive. My aim today is to give you the basics so that, affinché, you can gain confidence with this topic. More videos will follow, of course. Before we say goodbye, let me remind you that we have other 2 videos on the subjunctive with all the basics. Don't miss them! Alla prossima! Nel caso che non fosse chiaro, scrivetemi!